You're listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, hosted by your favorite home cooks, Erin Walker and Heather Dyer. Join us for inspiration and a new recipe every Tuesday.
Here we are. I feel like I say that too much. Here we are again.
Here we are.
We need a song for our intro where we go, here we are.
Miss America. I don't know.
Kitchen again.
Yeah, we should rewrite the Miss America song just for us.
That's good stuff. Okay, welcome to Three Kitchens Podcast. We are your hosts. Over there on my screen is Erin Walker.
I'm in a very bright sweater, so I feel like I'm glowing today.
You are. It's like neon. It's very nice. And I am Heather Dyer. Obviously, since there's two of us, and I already introduced Erin, you know the other one is Heather, so here we are. The other one's me. Well,
surprise, surprise.
Who else would it be?
Right?
Okay, all right. Thank you for joining us today. Erin and listener, I'm bringing the French, and I have to apologize right off the bat as I do. Oh, that was the dog opening the door to the room. Hi. You couldn't see the dog, but she
all
came
I can
in.
see is the door opening it.
Every time we do something where a French recipe or technique or something where we have to say French words, we always have to apologize because for whatever reason, even though we're Canadian and French is one of our official languages in this country, we are not French speakers and we tend to butcher. Not on purpose. We try,
get a little bit silly with the French, don't we?
Yeah, unfortunately. So anyone listening who is a native French speaker, I hope I won't hurt your ears too much when I talk about Coq Au Vin. How'd I do so far? I have no idea.
Don't ask me. You're looking at me like I should know. I have no idea. I'm sorry.
I'm sure it sounds nicer when a French person says it. Coq Au Vin, I believe, translates to rooster in wine.
Oh, I guess chicken would be poulet.
Mm-hmm. So it is the...
Check out that grade 4 knowledge coming back.
Okay, so I'm going to guess here. I haven't done a ton of research into it, but I'm going to guess that this is an older recipe, that maybe you used the rooster. Rooster would be a tougher bird.
He's done with his glory days.
Yeah, like he's had to do his job for a while.
Oh, that poor rooster.
Poor rooster. Oh no. Strutting around up at 5. Doing his cockadoodling.
Working 5 to 5.
And because this is a braised chicken dish, I could see if it was a bit more an older animal,
right?
Needs a bit more time cooking than like a fresh.
He's a tough old bird.
He's a tough old bird, and he needs a bit more time in the cooking juices to soften him up. Right? That's my guess.
I think that's a reasonable guess.
Yeah. So it is chicken in wine, mushrooms, and I believe traditionally some pearl onions. Oh, Erin, where would I find pearl onions? I don't know that I've ever.
I've seen them at the store every once in a while.
Okay. Well, I'll have to do some searching because I honestly don't know that I've ever noticed them, but maybe I just haven't been looking for them.
You know what? They're infrequent at best.
Mm.
They must be a seasonal thing.
Yeah. I'll do my best. If I can't find them, I may just have to substitute. When I came across this recipe, as I was browsing Pinterest and thinking, what could I do for an episode? And I came across this recipe. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Coq Au Vin is Three's Company, the sitcom. Do you remember? Were you like a big...
I do remember watching this as a kid, but it was a little bit past my prime.
I'm older than you are, and we watched the reruns. It must have been produced in the 70s. I watched it,
think so,
80s, as a kid, but every episode like many times. And so John Ritter's character, his name was Jack Tripper, and he was so funny, just hilarious. And he's like a real ladies' man, and he's always trying to impress dates. And he worked as a chef, So
Okay.
his specialty was Coq Au Vin, and he would always be whipping it up in their little apartment kitchen, and he'd be like getting ready to serve it to some woman that he wanted to impress. This was his like signature dish, and
His date meal.
yeah. So I'm hoping it's like impressive and date worthy, as Jack Tripper led me to believe as a small child. Julia Child also had Coq Au Vin in her Mastering the Art of French Cooking cookbook, which brought it to the masses, the American masses, anyways. And in her TV show, she made it, which I'm sure is a lot of fun to watch. Julia, are we gonna do an invitation?
I'm resisting the desire to Julia Child it up, but I will not.
I'm going to look up the video at some point, and maybe I can channel her while I cook it.
But we did, we watched at the film festival.
Oh, the documentary about Julia.
A few years back. We watched a great documentary about Julia Child. So you can go back and listen to us make all of our imitations there.
Oh, God, that was so fun.
That was really fun.
We recorded that on site at the
Calgary
International Film Festival. Getting a little too big for my britches here. Okay, the Calgary International Film Festival. We went there and recorded the episode talking about this documentary about Julia Child, and it was a lot of fun.
There were a lot of voices to be had. So if you want to hear us and our best Julias, check that out.
Okay, let me tell you what goes into Coq Au Vin. I've never made it. Don't even know if I've eaten it. So
cool.
This is my MO. You know what I like to do, these things. I don't really know what I'm talking about or what it should taste like or whatever, but we're doing it. Okay. So the information I read says it was traditionally made with the whole bird. I assume you'd have to chop it up. If you're interested in learning how to chop up a whole chicken, my friend Erin over here did a whole video on it, showing us how to deconstruct a chicken. Not that I've ever done it, but I've watched you do it in a video. That's on our YouTube channel, if anyone wants to go and check that out.
It's a great way to save money on your per pound cost per chicken. And if you use all the pieces, I think you get better bang for your buck.
We are really full of past episode recommendations today, because there's also an episode where Erin uses the free meat, as she calls it, from the back of the chicken that often gets kind of lost when you just buy it per piece. When you have the whole bird and you chop it up the way she shows you, you end up with the back. And the meat there is a little hard to access, but Erin tells us how to use that meat and make a delicious, what was it, a rice?
Pollo. Arroz, rice and chicken, arroz con pollo.
Oh, so delicious.
That's right. The free meat. Free meat.
Free meat. Okay. A more modern take on this would not be the entire bird. It would be, you could use bone in, skin on, thighs and drumsticks. Because of the way it's cooked, you're going to have not crispy skin, which is not everybody's favorite to have to pick out of a dish. So you might want to do skinless. So you don't have to then pick out the skin that doesn't cook quite maybe the way everybody likes it to be cooked.
I would say cook it with the skin, but then like take it off before you serve it so that people don't have to. Because you want all that fat to melt into your meat and into your sauce.
Yeah, that's true.
In my opinion.
Okay, I'm reading here that you could use chicken breasts, but I'm going to just say, I've never even made this, but I'm going to say don't use chicken breast. That is not going to be a tasty braised dish. I don't think. Next ingredient in the list is lardon. What is lardon? Okay, a substitute is slab bacon or thick cut bacon. So what do you suppose a lardon is? Should I do a quick Google? Must be a type of pork product. It's a fatty bacon or pork fat. So it's basically the fat.
Pure fat.
That's why the substitute is slab bacon or thick cut bacon, because you want the fatty bacon.
You want all that fat. Delish.
Okay. Red wine, of course, that's the vin of the Coq Au Vin. Burgundian wine is the recommendation. Garlic. Carrots seems to be optional. Julia Child did not put carrots in hers.
Interesting.
Other people say they like carrots. Not sure. Have to give that some thought. I like carrots in chicken dishes.
Yeah.
Good. There's thyme, bay leaf, and parsley. Cremini mushrooms. Butter, of course. You always need
Butter.
Tomato paste and flour because you're gonna thicken your sauce at the end.
Okay.
It's essentially like a stew, not really a sauce. The whole thing is kind of a stew. Chicken stock, salt and pepper. Now, so there's two schools of thought. You marinate the bird or the chicken in the wine overnight.
Okay.
And then cook it. I could see that would be good if you did have a tough old bird. A little extra time in the wine would be good, but you don't have to do it. I'm not sure what I'll do. I'm going to think about it. I always think marinating, I mean, you're going to add extra flavor to something. Why not?
Yeah. If I have the time, I like to do the marinating. I often am like, oh, too late.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, it'll still be okay
sure.
without the marinade. But yeah, if you've got the time.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. And since I am planning to do this recipe in advance, then I really will have time. Yeah. You're going to cook that bacon fat. You're going to brown your chicken.
Ooh, yeah.
You're going to put it back in the pot with all your other goodness, all the wine and the herbs and all that brown bits off the pot. It's going to be delicious. 45 minutes. Yeah, so then you'll take out your chicken, and if you want to take off the skin first, you want to take the bones out, maybe thicken the sauce, put it all back together. No, I mean, you can kind of figure out how you want to serve it, but I'm going to find out when I make it how we like it. So we want this to be accessible. So
exactly.
I'll do my best to bring Coq Au Vin to you.
Excellent. I'm excited for you to make this. I think I'm going to add it back into my rotation of cooking because I haven't made it in forever.
Let's just see how many times we can recommend a past episode in one
how many episodes?
Hey, do you read the show notes for a podcast episode? For this show, we give a description of what we're talking about in this episode. We talk about our guests, if there is one. We link to their social media or websites. We tell you how you can support them. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's a list of links to the recipes that we discuss, past episodes we reference. So all of that is all there, and it doesn't go away. So long after you've listened, if you think, remember that episode when they talked about that recipe? I want to go back and find the link to it. There it is. So don't skip the show notes. Now, back to the episode.
Tell me about our delicious old bird.
The old bird in wine. Coq Au Vin. So I didn't end up following Julia Child's recipe for a couple of reasons. Because you know that Julia can't just go the easy way.
Well, it's French cooking, Heather. It's meant to make you angry.
So a couple of steps in Julia's version of this recipe. So there are the lardons, the bacon fat, basically the thick
bacon
slabs of bacon. Okay, so I used thick slab bacon, diced, because I don't exactly know what lardons are, how to get them, whatever. So Julia part of her recipe is you boil it to remove the smoky flavor in the bacon.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's the point of that? Like, don't we all love the smokiness of bacon? I just thought that seems unnecessary.
It's an interesting step. It's something I've never considered doing.
She also used cognac at one point in the recipe, which she just lights on fire and burns off. And I shouldn't just say it's Julia, it's the French recipe, I guess, but Julia presented it this way.
Right.
And I also kind of thought, you're already using a whole bottle of wine. Do we also need cognac to have sitting in the cupboard forever after? Maybe not.
That's true.
So I don't know if that would have lent a different flavor to this. Well, the recipe that I used, I thought it was fairly simple and reasonably fast as well.
Perfect.
So if you're up for it, listener, and you want to go and try Julia's, have at it. Let us know how it goes. If you want a slightly simpler version of this, here we go. Okay, let's briefly talk about those darn pearl onions.
Oh, yeah.
They eluded me.
I didn't see them again either when I went out, which is too bad. I like a nice pearl onion. They're fun to bite into when they're nice and soft and sweet like that.
Yeah. I even looked in the frozen sections. I looked for them like in a jar. I thought, you never know, canned something. No, couldn't find any pearl onion to be had in like 4 stores that I went to.
The season has passed us. Goodbye, pearl onions. Till next year.
Goodbye. Goodbye. I don't know when the season is, but next it comes around, perhaps I will snatch some up and pop them in my freezer, and then I'll have them.
There you go.
For the next time I want to make an old
next
rooster
time I see them, I am just going to buy them and be like, it's the week for chicken and wine.
Yes, that's right. Just make it. When you find them, just make it.
Exactly.
Okay, I used bone-in, skin-on legs and thighs. You can use what you like. As we discussed earlier, something with the bone, preferably with the skin, because it lends some more flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
As you do to brown your chicken, you're going to pat it dry, season it with salt and pepper, set it aside in a big Dutch oven, get a little bit of oil on high heat, and put that bacon or lardons in there and cook until golden. Take them out. This is going to be the theme of the day. Cook something, take it out. Cook something else, take it out. So get ready to have a few dishes.
You need some bowls on the side for the reserves. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
So what I did is I had a casserole dish that I had set behind my Dutch oven. Yeah. And I was just scooping stuff into it. So then you're putting your chicken in to brown it in the bacon fat.
Oh, good idea.
This recipe that I was following said add more oil if needed. You don't need more oil. If you got the real fatty bacon, you don't need more oil in there. Don't overcrowd your chicken. Just put it in batches if you have to. Brown it on all sides. Let it get nice and golden. Take it out. Put it in that casserole dish with the bacon. And now you also don't want to take out all those little brown bits in the bottom of the pan, because those are like flavor bomb.
Yeah, those are the good pieces, right?
Yeah, you got to leave that stuff in there. Yeah. Okay, this recipe also has 1 large yellow onion chopped and 2 large carrots cut into about 1-inch pieces. So at this point, you're going to put that onion and carrot into the pot. Maybe lower your heat a little bit. You don't want to burn that onion that you just put in there. Cook until your onions have softened a little bit. You're going to add garlic into this. Then all the other things that you probably should prep ahead of time and have ready to be adding in, which is a tablespoon of tomato paste, a tablespoon of flour. You got your full bottle of red wine, a bay leaf, a few sprigs of fresh thyme, 3 cups of chicken stock, 4 tablespoons of butter, and then you've got your onions and mushrooms, which we are going to deal with after.
Okay, so you've got a whole bottle of wine and 4 cups of chicken stock? Wow, that is a lot of liquid. Okay.
So the other thing that was not in this recipe, but that had been, it's like in half the recipes you see, is to marinate the chicken in the wine. So I did do that.
Okay, that I was waiting to ask.
Yeah, sorry. I only did it for about, I think it was maybe 3 hours. I did it earlier in the day, and then I cooked it for dinner. So I put it in a glass dish. I poured wine. I threw a couple cloves of garlic that I'd minced and a couple of sprigs of that thyme in there with it. I kind of just was winging it. The interesting thing that happens when you marinate chicken in red wine is it turns very purple, and and if it's not touching all parts of the chicken, some parts are spotty looking.
Right.
So I had some funny looking chicken, but that's okay. I did, as you just mentioned, I thought it was a lot of liquid.
Okay. That seemed like a lot.
You might be tempted to adjust that, and you wouldn't be wrong. Okay. And it says to cook until the wine is reduced by half. I didn't find the wine reduced that much. I don't know.
That can take a long time.
Yeah. And I think I let it go, like simmer for about 10 minutes, and I still felt like there's a lot of wine here. And I had taken the chicken out of my wine earlier, right? So I just poured the wine in that I'd used with the chicken.
Yeah.
And I put the rest of the bottle in there too. And I was like, wow, it's a lot.
Yeah, because to reduce, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think you could, and I had, let's see,
how many pieces of chicken did you have?
Yeah, I had 10 pieces of chicken.
Dang.
And I think 1 whole bottle was still maybe too much, along with the chicken stock.
Yeah.
Then when you've reduced your wine, if it has reduced, add your chicken stock, season with salt and pepper, get it boiling, then put in your chicken and your bacon and any juices that were in that nice casserole dish you've had it all sitting in. Put everything into the Dutch oven.
Nice.
And you're going to cover it up, put it in the oven, preheated to 350 for about 45 minutes or until the chicken is like falling off the bone, basically. You want it super tender.
Yeah.
Now, about 15 minutes before the chicken is ready is when you prepare your pearl onions, if you've got them, and your mushrooms.
Oh, so if you've got pearl onions, you still use the diced onion?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't have pearl onions, did you then use more onion?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. I considered, I'm like, what else should I do here? But I couldn't think of a substitute that would be the same as the pearl onion. And then I just thought, no, I'm just going to leave it. If you have pearl onions, let me just go back to my list here. Got about 8 ounces peeled pearl onions, and you have 8 ounces of cremini mushrooms sliced. I left mine basically in half. Some of them I quartered if they were bigger, just because I wanted them easily picked out if my kids didn't want to eat them. I have one who likes mushrooms, one who doesn't, and I wanted him to be able to pick them out easily.
I kind of like a big mushroom.
Yeah, I liked it that way too.
Good decision.
Ah, excellent. Good to know.
And I did not pick them out because I like them.
I didn't either. I ate them all. Okay, so in a saute pan over medium-high heat, a tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of butter. Put your pearl onions in there, if you've got them, a pinch of salt, and brown them.
Okay.
Remove them to a plate.
Of course.
We're doing this again. You know the drill.
All right. We're ready for this.
You're going to add in another tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of butter, and you're going to saute your mushrooms until brown. Maybe 8 or 10 minutes. Yeah. Season with salt and pepper, and remove them along with you can put them with the onions over there.
Okay.
When the stew has finished cooking, you're going to take out the chicken. You're going to take out the bay leaf. You're going to take out those sprigs of thyme. Now, the chicken, you can decide if you want to remove the skin, if you want to take it off the bone and put it back in. You can do what you want with that.
Right.
I just left it to the individual eating to determine if they want the skin or not or whatever. So if you put your pot on the stove, you want to try to thicken this sauce. Well, there's so much liquid that I didn't have a whole lot of luck thickening the gravy.
Right, yeah.
And they suggest here here's another French word for us, burgundy. I don't know if I'm saying that. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's basically a tablespoon of softened butter and a tablespoon of flour, and you mix it into like a paste, and you use that to thicken your sauce. That did
diddly squat.
Diddly squat. That sounds nice. It's just a lot of liquid. So I think what would be better is just to reduce the amount of liquid. Maybe use half the wine. That might just right there and drink the other half the bottle.
That sounds like a good solution to your problem.
Yes, there you go. You adjust your seasoning, give it a taste, see if it needs any salt, add parsley if you like, stir your onions and mushrooms into it. And if you're going to serve it all in the pot, put your chicken back in, or you can put your chicken on your plate, put some sauce and veggies on there. We had it with mashed potato.
Yes.
That's Coq Au Vin. I hope that made sense. It's so funny to go through a recipe and be like, well, I don't know about this. Well, I don't know about that. But it happens to me every time. Life's an experiment, and so is cooking, everybody.
Perfect. Yeah. I liked this with the mashed potatoes. When I got it from you and heated it up, I kind of put it all together in one pot, so it became really thick and stewy because of the
potatoes like mixed in.
All mixed in, so it was really good as leftovers like that. And the flavors were really good in there too.
I do think this would be better the next day. I think it's one of those things, and to re-warm it up again, it might be thicker the next day, or like
I forgot about these flavors because I've made it before and then I stopped making it, and I really enjoyed the carrot in there and the mushrooms and the wine, and I thought that was really good.
The onions would have been like
the onions are the extra. Are that little cherry on top, right? But you just don't always get them. So
yeah,
that's okay. I didn't realize it had 2 types of onions in it.
I had read that you could also make it other types of wine. I think I saw Coq Au Riesling and stuff like that. So maybe I think I might personally maybe prefer a white wine with the chicken.
Oh, that would be a fun. Oh,
I feel like the red wine goes so well with a dark meat, like a red meat. I feel like a white wine with this would have been more suited my palate a little more.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Next time I make this, I'm definitely going to do it with white wine then. What's your favorite white wine to cook with?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't really.
Then forget I asked.
Yeah, forget that. I have no idea. Do you have a preference?
I don't like the Sauvignon Blanc. I find it too tart or too something, but I like a Chardonnay or a Pinot Grigio. So those are my two. I only buy wine for cooking, so I'm always just kind of buying. I really actually like the Naked Grape wine for cooking with, and it holds up well in the fridge, and it's Canadian, and it's on the lower cost range.
Yeah, I was going to say it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try this again with a white. So the recipe on the blog, I'm going to adjust the amount of liquid, I think, for that. Yeah.
I was even thinking, I wonder if you had this in a larger pan and you did like a spatched chicken.
Oh.
I don't need to imitate that. Like if you
don't worry, no.
Here I am with my elbows up, like, all right.
This is when I wish we did do video. Can we do it? Can we just do a little clip of you?
This is your chicken spread out. But if you did it spatched and then covered it in wine and did like the whole thing in in a dish like that.
Yeah, I like that idea because I did think about if you could do a whole chicken. Yeah, I like that idea.
Interesting thoughts on how to continue revising this recipe. It's survived the test of time. It's got good flavors and you can kind of play with it.
French
in a lot of different ways.
Don't come at us for attempting to ruin a classic recipe.
Or do, cool.
All right. Make your rooster and
bon appetit.
Bon appetit. And now for the fine print. Join us over on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and on our website at threekitchenspodcast.com. Remember, when you like, follow, subscribe, and leave a review, it helps more people find us. Thank you so much for listening. Is this our year? Is it our year, Erin? Are we destined for greatness?
Every year is our year. We are great.
That's the attitude.